I wasn't completely sure if I wanted to do this year. I kind of wanted to take it easy the rest of 2023 and hit it hard January of 2024. But as the days started winding down towards the new year, something inside of me just kept saying that my future self would probably want to see the state of my collection this year, because this year was the year that I really started to build my collection to a place that actually has some like substantial meaning behind it. And there's stories behind the pieces that I'm about to show you. Welcome to my State of the Collection 2023. The first watch I want to talk about is this Omega that my mom gave me that my dad wore. I actually don't know much about this watch. For a long time, I thought it was counterfeit just because it feels so light and it doesn't exude confidence of like what a luxury watch should feel like. But then finally I had the courage to open up the back of this watch to expose the movement. I saw the movement and the movement had Omega written all over it. That's when I kind of figured out that maybe it is real. Maybe this thing is an authentic Omega. I'm guessing it's some older DeVille. My guess is it even could be some sort of ladies' watch. I'm thinking from the 60s. If you guys have any insight of where this watch came from, what model is it, around the time period, please drop a line in the comments so that I can figure that out. This watch makes me feel connected to my father. He passed away in 1997. I keep it in my watch box because I like to look at it and I like to feel a piece of him whenever I start my day or before I go to bed. The funny thing is that I never actually saw him wear this around when I was a kid. Maybe it was something that he just kept locked away in a box because he didn't want to damage it. But if it was his intention for me to always have this, then it's beautiful and it's something that I'll keep in my collection forever. Next up on the list, Sternglass Marus dive watch. This was a birthday present from my wife. When we were thinking about buying this, it was we were like, wow, like $600. We can't believe we're gonna spend $600 on a watch. But if we want to be completely honest, the watch that I really wanted was, I believe it was called a Commuter from Traska. Traska does not always have availability all the time. I found this Sternglass. I'm actually really glad that I went with this because this watch is, in my opinion, pretty underrated. This watch gives me confidence when I'm doing everyday tasks because I'm not really worried about getting this thing banged up. I think that this watch is the best watch that Sternglass has in their lineup still to this day. I think this watch is slept on, and this is something that I intend on keeping in my collection. I believe it was November of 2022. I discovered this brand called Yema. They were doing a Black Friday sale on some of their watches. I did a review on this watch. It's the Yema Superman Bronze Korea Special Edition. I honestly think that this watch just looks lovely, and I didn't have anything in 39mm, so I wanted to try it out. And then this watch was like 30% off, so I gave it a shot. I still love this watch to this day. To summarize, like if you are in the market for a Black Bay, something along those lines, financially you can't really get there to the Black Bay level, but you kind of are running out of your patience and you want something now. Like honestly, like looking at Yema and some of the watches that they have in their Superman line is a really nice distraction. I've enjoyed owning and wearing this watch. This is still the watch that I get the most compliments on to this day. I do appreciate all the value that you do get in this watch. I honestly love the way it looks and where it sits in my collection. The next watch that I got after the Yema was Glacier Blue Tissot PRX Powermatic 80 in the 40 mil. If you're just getting into it, or if you're not even into the hobby and you just stumbled upon this watch and you love the look of it, I don't blame you, honestly, because I still love mine. Every time I look at it, I'm like, should I sell it? Should I trade it? And then I look at it and I'm like, man, this thing is so cool. This thing's so dope. Whenever I pick it up, I always just like want to put it on my wrist. It's just one of those things where like, as soon as I pick it up, I'm like, oh dang, I gotta wear this thing. It looks really great. Yeah, Glacier Blue Tissot PRX. I actually bought this off of Teddy Baldessar, his website, brand new. The hype is real on the bracelet, it's amazing. I realized I was like, I need to own a chronograph, something that I just should probably have in my collection. I ended up landing on this Seiko Speedtimer 41, the silver/white dial, the Saytona. This is the 41 millimeter variant. I love the way this watch looks, the way it's built. The bracelet is fine. I actually also love that it's solar. I don't ever have to worry about having to set the time for this. And this watch helped me love quartz. Sometimes when you're just rushing out of the house, you need to grab something quick. Like this guy is always there for me to have on hand, not having to worry about setting the time, and it looks phenomenal. This past year, I had the opportunity to go to Hawaii for work. Hawaii, Waikiki, the island of Oahu is an amazing place. It's one of those places that I do plan on and hope to go back to pretty often in my life. While we were out in Hawaii, there's a mall that has a swatch store that was close to where I was staying. Yeah, I just stopped by there to see if they had any MoonSwatches. Obviously looking for the Neptune or the Moon. Ended up buying a Jupiter, and I believe I bought Earth. I went back again the next day, asked them if they had a shipment come in for the Moon or the Neptune. I ended up getting a Pluto and a Mercury. So I ended up leaving Hawaii with like 4 MoonSwatches. I sold one to a friend and then traded 3 for another watch that I'm about to show you coming up in a little bit. But then a swatch store opened in Atlanta that's close to my house. So my wife, she happened to just be close by. She ended up picking this up for me. This is the MoonSwatch Mission to the Moon. I don't ever wear this watch, but every time I think about selling it or trading it, I just can't bring myself to do it because whenever I look at it, I just think it looks cool, but I never wear it. Maybe I'll wear it today. But what I really think this is in my collection right now is a placeholder for when I actually get like a Speedmaster. I put it on a leather strap because I don't like the straps that it come with. I don't know what this watch does for me or where it sits. I don't know why I hold on to it. I don't know why I can't sell it or I can't trade it. Maybe there's a side of me that believes that if I hold on to it long enough that it'll be worth some money like 20 years in the future. I don't know. But yeah, MoonSwatch Mission to the Moon, 40 mil. The next swatch coming up on the list is probably my favorite watch that I own. If I had to sell all the other watches in my collection and only keep one, this actually might be the one that I keep. This is a Tudor Black Bay Heritage, steel and gold, 41 millimeters, reference number 79733. And I have it here on a NATO strap. You know, a lot of people, they give the OG Black Bays, the 41 millimeters, they give them a lot of heat because of how large the case is. I mean, it is a thick boy, I'm not gonna lie. This particular model, I think is really special just because it's a Black Bay that has a Pelagos movement inside of it, which I think is pretty unique because it's one of the only Black Bays that have a date window. The movement being the MT5612. If you guys know anything about me and have been watching my channel, then you know that I love watches that have date windows in them. This watch to me just represents so much of who I am and what my personality is. It looks bougie. I love bougie things, but it's understated still. It has like links to like Rolex, but it also is not a Rolex, but it's built like quality like a Rolex. And I love the reaction that I get when I meet people and they ask me what kind of watch this is, and I tell them that it's a Tudor and they don't know what Tudor is, and I get to educate them on what Tudor is. And then when I link with other watch enthusiasts, the reactions that I get when they discover that it is a Tudor Black Bay. I feel like it's just a much more passionate conversation amongst enthusiasts because we all love Tudor. I daily this watch now. I used to keep it in my watch box and kind of baby it, but I love wearing this thing. I love wearing it to work. I love wearing it out. I sometimes, like, as soon as I get home from work, sometimes I just like take naps with it on. I wake up, I look at it. It just brings me so much joy. This is my Tudor Black Bay Steel and Gold 41mm Heritage. And I plan on doing a review on this. I just have to, the review for this watch has to be like perfect. The story behind this watch is one of my friends in Atlanta. His name's Brian. He was in the market for a MoonSwatch, and at the time I was like, yo, I have like 3 of them that I don't really wear. And then he was like, what do you want to trade? And I was like, what do you got? And then he said, do you need a GMT? And I was like, oh, I kind of do need a GMT because I'm actually traveling to Tokyo in October. And I was like, maybe I should take a GMT with me. So I ended up trading. I don't know if this is a good trade on me. Maybe it was a better trade on him, but I ended up trading 3 MoonSwatches for this guy. I was kind of hesitant at first because this is a big boy. He is chunky. I think he's like 43 or 44 millimeters. Just a really interesting looking watch. And I still like it. I think like I always look at it, I'm like, oh, this thing's kind of ugly. But then when I put it on my wrist, it's kind of dope. I like it. Yeah, it just does something for me. It makes me happy when I look at it. Up next is Up next is my Rolex. Even before I became an enthusiast, I always knew that I wanted to own a steel and gold Datejust. And here it is. This is Rolex reference 16233 with a U serial. It's from 1997, 36 mil. 16233, this is so the 5-digit models there, the ones that have the hollow links in the Jubilee. The clasp is stamped. It's not really the greatest experience, but one thing that I do love about this bracelet is that it does flex and it's very comfortable and it's really light. This watch honestly makes me feel accomplished just because of how long I've been wanting to own one, and then finally being able to say that I do. It's just one of those milestones in my life that I'll never take for granted. And this particular dial has the diamond baguette indices. It was made in 1997, which is really symbolic for me because that's the year that my father passed away. So it's another reminder of my father. It's just another reminder of his presence still that exists in my life and his spirit continuing to live inside of me as I continue to progress and navigate this world, discovering my own manhood. To be honest, this one is perfection. I went to Tokyo in October of this year, had an amazing time. I'm into camera equipment and watches, so like it's a perfect place to shop for old film cameras and look for watches as well. We were in Harajuku. I found this random vintage watch store. This man had such an amazing collection of vintage watches and mostly Seiko. Surprisingly, I don't know if it's only because I was staying in Tokyo. Where we were at, there wasn't a lot of vintage Seiko in like Shibuya, Shinjuku, Ginza. Like most of the watch shopping that's around there is going to be little higher horology type of stuff. Not even a lot of Grand Seikos that were like in the used market, but this guy I found in Harajuku just had an amazing selection of vintage Seiko pieces, and this is one of them that I bought off of him. This is a Seiko Rider's chronograph. It's a Giugiaro design. There's 1,500 of these made, and I have number 823, and I love this watch. It's just got such a funky case shape because they rotated the dial and gave it this like gradient elevation on one side so that if you're wearing this while riding a motorcycle or driving a car, you can see the time better. Funny story about this is my friend Brian, the same guy that I traded the MoonSwatches with, he was like, when you go out to Japan, do some shopping, you have a budget of like $1,000. And I was like, bet, we could do that. I wasn't finding anything under 1,000, and I was getting kind of worried because I was like, oh man, I want to find something nice for Brian. Fast forward, I find this boutique in Harajuku. I asked the gentleman that worked at the shop, I said, can I please take that watch? I'm gonna buy this one for my friend. He said, cool. So he packaged it and then he put another one out as soon as he got done. And I was like, wait, you got another one? He was like, yeah. So I was like, all right, let me buy this one too. So I ended up getting the same watch just because I liked it so much. And I just think it's so unique, and I think it's so dope. The next watch I got in Tokyo is from that same boutique in Harajuku. This one caught my eye. It is a G-Shock DW5700. The reason why I was so drawn to this watch is because back when I was in middle school, my mom, she bought me a yellow G-Shock at the mall randomly, and I loved it. It was like a DW6900, the one with the big G Indiglo button in the middle. And I love that watch. And then like every dumb kid, you know, I lost it. And I've hated myself for losing that watch ever since. Yeah, when I saw this one, I was like, I have to have it because it's like the same exact shade of yellow as the one that my mom got me when I was a kid. It just has this cool cage around it, which I think is unique. The guy at the boutique said that this is a limited edition, but I haven't done enough research on it to really know. I think it's good to own a G-Shock. There are just moments in life where you just need to have the most extreme, rugged beater watch that you can wear out. And this watch I use to set the time for all my other mechanical watches in my box. And this thing just, I love this thing. It brings me so much joy. And it's very sentimental because sometimes I think about that old yellow G-Shock that my mom got me and how I lost it. And I just like kind of get into this like sad daze staring off into space. But that doesn't happen anymore because I have this. Boop. And now for the last watch to finish the state of the collection, this super random Grand Seiko SBGA 027 from 2009. I love this watch so much, but I didn't think that I would. Little backstory. This year was like a weird year for work for me. I wasn't really hitting my quotas and hitting my numbers the way that I usually did. Before going to Tokyo, I had like scared money. I was like, I don't think I should go out shopping, and I don't think I should buy anything extravagant. I finally landed on that new Seiko Presage Black Urushi dial that they just released. I ended up seeing it in the boutique because we went to the flagship store that was next to the Seiko Museum in Ginza and instantly fell in love. It was so beautiful. I didn't end up buying it because it was like the second day we were there and I was like, let me just shop around and see. I think it was retailing for around 1,200 US. So I was like, okay, cool. I can manage that. let me just sit on it and think about it, because it's still like day 2 and I still want to see what else they got. We were walking around Shibuya, I think day 5. There's boutique in Shibuya called House Kihiroba. You go up the elevator, as soon as the elevators open, it's just this beautiful showroom of all the most amazing watches from all over the world. They had everything from Cartier, Rolex, Omega. They had some APs. It was just such a great selection of everything that you would ever want. They also had some Grand Seikos. After browsing through the inventory that they had, I stumbled upon this. I know I've seen this watch before, just like through like my endless nights of research, but like seeing it in person, I was like, I always thought to myself like, these crown guards are so ugly. But as soon as I put it on, I couldn't stop staring at it. It had everything I wanted. The spring drive movement is one. It has frame date window, power reserve indicator on the front, and the quirky like Seiko logo on the top, and then the smushed together like GS Grand Seiko spring drive on the bottom. Steel bracelet and case. Oh, and then obviously the black dial matches with like my original thought of buying an Urushi Presage. And on top of that, they were selling this watch used for $1,900 US. So like if I only pay $700 more, then I could get into Grand Seiko with the spring drive. And I think to this day, at least of the time of recording this video, I think that this watch is still the cheapest way to get into spring drive. I can proudly say that I am a GS owner. I am in the club. And, you know, this is just my first entryway into hoping to continue to get more into Grand Seiko as the time progresses. Man, if you're still here, I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you so much for indulging with me as we wrap up this year together. It has been a great and crazy, like, year for watch collecting for me. I went from owning honestly like 3 or 4 to owning now 12 in the matter of like 12 months, which I guess averages out to like 1 watch a month. It's not good, but you know, I'm happy that it happened, and I'm happy that I'm able to talk about my collection. And you know, I think the story that is attached to everything that I got just like means so much to me. I appreciate you sticking it out with me, checking out what I have. Have an amazing rest of your year, and I'll see you in 2024. Peace.